welcome to It Is What It Is, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Shamari. And first, I want to say the name of the innocent man that was shot in his backyard by the Idaho Falls Police Department. What his name is Joseph Joe Johnson. His wife has a GoFundMe set up. If you go to East Idaho News, you'll be able to find it. They have a link on there. And everybody who missed that episode, we had here locally some young man had some warrants out for his arrest. When he was pulled over, he ran through a neighborhood, and upon going and looking for him, Mr. Johnson came out of his home, had talked to one officer, and was directed to go back inside. From what we understand, he had chosen to go back outside in his own backyard. He did have a weapon in his own backyard because he was just informed that there was a fugitive on the run, and he has 4 children and a beautiful wife. So he was protecting his home. We don't know what exactly happened after that point in time. Later, we do know that another police officer, not the one he had talked to, had come upon him and shot and killed him in his backyard. And the only thing that they've come out and said so far is, of course, that it was accidental, which I don't believe that by any means. And that Mr. Johnson had the same color of shirt on as the kid who ran. So, I don't know. They're trying to blame it on the dude who ran. So, now that we know his name, I really hope that us Idahoans still continue to stand together like we are, at least on the media front, that this is not okay and that there needs to be punishment for what has happened here. But at the same time, today is going to be day 2 of, there's a girl here, a lady, a girl, whatever you want to call her, a woman here. Her name is Jenna. She had a mental breakdown. And I think drugs were involved. I'm not 100% sure. I think there might have been drugs involved. We're going to be on day 2 of her court stuff. Well, a young officer was ran over and killed in the process of what was going on with her. I mean, and she had a machete, and the one cop had it under control. They played a bunch of audio and stuff from dash cams and body cams and stuff. It was kind of hard to hear, so I kind of want to wait more for a transcript to come out, because I have really bad hearing anyway, so it was it was really hard for me to hear exactly what was going on, because they were stopping and asking the one detective explain this and this, and I really couldn't hear. So it's better when they put it on their faces, because then I can kind of read their lips and stuff. But yeah, so they're blaming her for him getting ran over by another officer. Another officer is who hit him. And they're trying to blame her. Now, it's tragic. Completely tragic all the way around. But I don't think she should be blamed, and I don't think, even though this young man may be a felon a couple times over, it's not his fault the dude got shot. It's not. The officer needs to take accountability for what happened here. Because what happened here, even if it was a mistake, is murder. And you need to be held accountable. I don't care if you're a cop or not. And Idaho Falls lately has gone, Idaho in its general self, kind of hitting a crapshoot lately, my friends. Like, I've literally lived here for 30 years. I lived in Spokane, Washington for like a smidgen of my life. But other than that, Idaho Falls. Grew up on Lomax and Emerson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up here. Like, never in my, I don't even know, dude. Like, and this has happened in, like, in Pocatello, they shot a girl and killed her when she had deodorant. And they thought the deodorant was a gun, and the Pocatello police department shot and killed her. And it's like, crazy. And I know how some of you people from like bigger cities and stuff, you're like, okay, calm down, dramatic. But like for real, y'all, this does not happen here. Like, and I know people say that all the time, but like, really, it doesn't. I don't even understand lately the shit that's been going on and that's in the news and everything else is just so insane that I don't recognize where I'm from. And then like, and in the meantime, they're trying to stop Idahoans from being ever able to be able to legalize marijuana here, but yet we are celebrating one of the biggest pot advocates at this time in this general, like, you know what I mean, at this point in time. We gave him a day. We He has like a cranberry juice in the museum. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yet you don't want us to be able to legalize weed, but yet we're gonna, I don't, dude, I don't understand. And then we're like, we're gonna kill people as officers of the law, and then we're gonna blame the person that we're going on the hunt for. And like, if we find out for some odd reason Mr. Johnson got into a dispute with this officer, I'll be really shocked. I don't think that happened, to be honest. And it's like, oh my God, okay, this is kind of what it's like. It's like if you get pulled over and the cop gets out of the car, someone comes and hits that officer and kills him. Is it your fault? No. No. You pulled over. A tragic thing happened. And that's in, I don't know, that's in the Jenna case. Because, like, this case, the officer, like, you shot an innocent man. An innocent man. You have to be held. You, the person who did it, has to be held accountable. I, as a citizen who got pulled over, should not be blamed for the officer dying. The person who ran him over is the person to blame. The person who pulled the trigger and shot him is to blame. The officer behind the wheel that struck a fellow officer is to blame. Not a woman who was obviously in a crisis situation to begin with. And like we've gathered, as far as I can tell, at least they made that very clear. Something was seriously going on with her. So like I don't know, guys. Like it's just weird. Weird. So anyway, I'm going to tell you guys about a show that I have fallen in love with. Cannot wait for more. Framed by the Killer on the Oxygen channel. I was listening to it the other night, and the episode I'm going to tell you about, once it played, I sat there and I was like, wow, brah. Okay, so originally I was always going to be cremated. Like, I've always wanted to be cremated. I probably still do. But after watching this show and watching the show Exhumed, which I'll kind of tell you about, I don't know if I want to. Like, I really don't know. Your body is so important. You don't know how you're going to die. You can't plan for that. I can't be like, oh, I guess you could write different scenarios out and like leave that to somebody, like scenario B or like whatever. I don't know. Hey, I guess I can say that just now. If for some reason I get murdered or it's suspicious beyond any reason, do not cremate my ass. Put me in the ground in a good covering box in a good coffin. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you about this case because it literally I watched it again tonight, same day. Now it's Friday morning, but anyway, I was in and I even knew it was coming because I watched it yesterday. So like I already knew it was coming and I still was like, "Oh my god. No." Okay. So, what happened? There's this I'm going to use what she was known by, not her actual name. So we have Tammy, beautiful mother, stay-at-home mom. She's amazing. She cares for everyone and anyone she comes upon. She's great with her daughter. Her and her husband have one daughter together. She is there at every volleyball game, every dance, everything. She's the mom of moms. And very pretty lady. She's 41 years old. And they're from Wyoming, Montana, I believe, Montana, originally. And they moved to South Dakota for her husband's work. He starts working for the Walmart company. He's moving up in the Walmart ranks. And the daughter goes off to school finally, and like she has activities. So like after school, we got volleyball, we got whatever, we got soccer, we got dance, so the mom has extra time. And so Tammy decides, I'm going to go and I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to fill up my time, make a little bit of money. So she's married to Brad. And her and Brad sit their daughter down and they tell her, they're like, hey, we're going to get a divorce. The daughter doesn't know why. She's completely confused. She's like, what? Come again? Huh? Whoa. And the mom is like free and happy and moving on. And she is seeing a married man. She is in the middle of an affair with a guy named Brian. And like, oh my god, this is just so crazy. So they tell the daughter that they're getting divorced, and then the husband is devastated, right? Brad, he's super sad about it. He's like he's super depressed. He's in bed and everything else. And then one morning their daughter wakes up and she goes looking for her mom. She cannot find her. And her dad, who's a workaholic, he's constantly at work. He's rarely, like, they don't know when he's gonna come home. So he's there and he's like, I'm taking you to school. Don't you worry. And she's like, okay, this is weird to begin with because, like, you're here. And when they get in the car, she's like, where's my mom? And he's like, oh, last night her boyfriend rolled up. She went with her boyfriend. She'll be back. This is the first time this 12-year-old girl's finding out that her mother had a boyfriend to begin with. Okay? And then she has the shock that, like, the family's obviously divorcing. Now mom has a boyfriend. And he takes her and drops her off at school. Just takes her to school. It's like, oh, devastating news. Get out. Go play. And he goes off to Walmart. starts his Walmart day, and she's an hour late for work. Okay? An hour. Brian is like, oh, hell no. Where's my girl? Because he's her boss. And she started working at the Kmart. And so she started having the affair with him, and she's getting all the attention that she's been wanting and needing from her own husband, but he's been gone, so he can't give it. And so he calls 911, and he's like, so I need to report a missing person. And he's like, there may be foul play. And the 911 operator's like, okay, why do you think that? And he's like, well, her husband just found out about our affair. Needless to say, he ain't too happy about it. And like, I haven't found her, talked to her, the whole thing. So they go to Walmart, and they show up at Walmart, and they go, and they're like, Brad, where's your wife? And he's like, shit, I don't know. Like, I swear I heard her pull up last night, drop her car off, and leave with someone else. I'm assuming her boyfriend. I don't know who her boyfriend is, though. Okay, is what he says. He says he doesn't have a clue who the boyfriend is. He just knows that there is one in existence. And they're like, well, come and talk to us at the police station. They go to his house. Well, first they go to the house. There's no sign. The only thing they find at the house is there is some blood in the, and this is from the newspaper, not from the show. There's some blood on the wall. In the show, they say there's nothing. But in the newspaper, they say there's some blood on the wall in the bedroom. And then the car, her car, in the garage has blood dripping from it. This is from the show. It's dripping. Okay? And so they're like, uh-huh. What's that, Brad? He's like, I have no idea. So like, well, let's go downtown and talk about it. Maybe you don't. And they're asking him questions, and he's like, I don't know who the guy is or whatever. Meanwhile, they go to Brian, and they're like, hey, she's passed. And like, breaks the news that she is, like, you know, like, they're trying to find her. That they assume she's passed with him. Like, that the assumption. We don't know yet. We haven't found her body, her person. So they're like, we kind of think you're onto something. And he's like, okay, like, I don't want to tell my wife or whatever, but like, we did meet up. We did our normal routine. I dropped her off. We went on, and she had told him that she was afraid of her husband, so he knew that there was a reason to have fear there. Meanwhile, dude, the little girl, the daughter, has no idea that this is like the tangled world she lives in. And they go to Brad or whatever, and they're like, well, we're gonna arrest you. And he's like, well, I'm telling you right now, I didn't do anything to her. You're making a big mistake. When her body's found, hopefully you find then the DNA. Hopefully there's DNA that will free me. All this nonsense, right? And they go, and they have to tell Brian's wife that his girlfriend, her husband's girlfriend, is missing, presumed dead. And that right there, if he had done anything, you know what I mean? Like, right then and there is like the time to be like, that motherfucker didn't even come home last night. But she alibied him. She's like, nope, after he was done being a fucking cheater McCheaterson, he was sure at home with me. And so they know where he has been. Well, they're working the case, okay? They're trying to put it together. Because at the home, there is no sign of anything happening in this home. And there's a lot of blood in her car. Like, a lot. And it smells like cleaner. And I'm talking, like, a lot of blood is dripping out the back still. Like, there's so much that whoever, quote unquote, whoever did this just gave up and was like, fuck it. I'm done. Then, okay, and so Brad has a twin brother. And so they get this like weird cryptic letter, okay, that's supposedly from Brian's cousin of some sort. And it says Brian came home with an SUV with his dead girlfriend inside that he had stabbed to death, and he had sodomized her and left the condom inside of her. Yeah, you heard that right. And so, like, you have the wrong man in jail, that whole type of thing. And so they know, they're like, well, Brad can't send this because he's in jail. And if he would have sent this to us, it would have had, like, from an inmate, like, they stamp it that says it's from a prison. Well, obviously now you know the brother sent it. But anyway, so they go and get her body again. Sure enough, condom in her rectum. But there's no DNA. There's no nothing. All we have is a shady ass cousin that we can't find to validate any of this. And so how they find her body is Brad is fucking writing notes, like letters to his brother, and has a map of like the area, and is like, oh bro, this is where we gonna go fishing. And like, so they were like, why the hell are you talking about fishing? You're gonna be in jail for a minute. And they believed it for a second. They were like, shit, dude, did we lock up the wrong guy? So he never says, like, I did it. So what they find when they go to that area, besides her, is the comforter, and they find a tarp and some blankets and shit. So what this dude did, this is what blew my mind. Okay, so he takes his normal sheets, pulls them back, puts a tarp down, puts blankets down, and then puts the fitted sheet back on the bed. The wife goes to bed. He attacks her, stabs her to death. Every time he is stabbing her, the blankets and shit underneath her are cleaning the knife. So, like, there's no blood spatter. Blood's not going everywhere. It's getting soaked up into these blankets and onto this tarp. Like, he thought it out. The only thing that he didn't think out, let me tell you, oh my God. So, then they drop a bomb on you, and they're like, viewer, do you want to know how he knew who the boyfriend was? And you're like, yes, I do. Here's what he did. So Brad buys a voice-activated voice recorder, buys her flowers, writes a love note, puts it in her car at work. Okay? She gets in the car. She calls Kmart. She's like, Brian, please. well, she says his last name. And so he knew. So the cops knew it was a lie. They knew that he knew what the boyfriend's name was. And just like, oh my God, the twists, the turns. And the cops were even like, it was a game of fucking chess, bro. Like, how scary shady is that? Literally, if he would have had a little more time to clean up that car, Brad would have been sitting pretty. He would have gotten out, I think. And I think eventually, I don't know if they would have ever been able to close it, because I don't think they would have had enough evidence against either guy. Like, it would have been a hard fight in court for either one if they wouldn't have, like, the dots that they connected, insane. And then the grossest part that grosses me out, the worst part about the whole thing is this dude went as far as following his wife and her Sancho out to the desert where they would go and bone, and they would discard their used condom out the window, which littering and gross animals get that. But that's what they would do. And he went and collected this other man's condom and inserted it into his wife's rectum. And when the cops didn't find it, you know how mad he must have been? And then to know that, like, it sat for so long that it was useless and there was nothing for it anyway. So, like, oh my God. So then they go to court, right? So then, like, obviously that all backfires on him. And so he's like, Plan B. My daughter did it. Oh my God, I just dropped the microphone. What? Twist, turns, dodge, weave. What? And the daughter's like, excuse the fuck out of me? What? And then he tries to say some shit like, oh, she's always had a violent streak when she sleeps. She used to stab her teddy bears and shit. And she's like, no, I have not. No, I have not. So then you go try to blame it on your own baby girl. Oh my God, so he's sitting life and without possibility of parole in South Dakota. But like, oh my God, the twists, the turns. I tell you what, I was like, no. And like, ugh. Could you imagine all the planning? And like, what really pissed him off is on that voice recorder, even though the boyfriend did not take credit for the flowers, he's like, no, it's probably your husband. She was like, oh, okay, well, I still really like to hear your voice. And like, they end it with, I love you so much. And I guess that was like what set him off. And he was like, ooh, you love? But yeah. Dude, and then, like, so there's that show. There's only 3 episodes so far, and that's the second episode, the one I just told you guys about. So there's only 3 episodes of that one. So then I had to start watching the Exhumed show. And these are both new on Oxygen Channel. And that one right there, dude, you do not cremate yourself or a family member when something tragic happens to them. Bro, you're going in the ice box of natural life in the ground, son. And hopefully, if we do need you, we get to you in time before the elements get to you. There's this one where this girl was like 4 years old. Like, I don't even know. She might have been a little older than that. She was baby, young. Her mom was viciously murdered. Viciously murdered. And she slept through it. She did wake up. She was the one who alerted. Like, she went outside, and the little neighbor boy was like, "Hey, come play with me." And she's like, "No, I can't. I think my mom's dead." And his mom called the cops and, like, led to the investigation. And she was just buried, and, like, they didn't know if they were ever going to solve the case. Took decades. And, like, they lost all the evidence, all the photos, everything. The only thing they had at the time was a picture of her as a little girl and her mom's bloody outline on the floor. For some reason, someone took a picture of her like that. And, like, a guy that she knew that went to school with became a cop. And so she was like, "Hey, I'm going to ask this cop to, like, solve my mom's case." Oh my God. So then it turns out that her mom is like the bravest woman in America, doesn't make a peep the whole time she's getting brutally stabbed, doesn't make a peep because she doesn't want to wake up her own daughter. She doesn't want her baby to wake up. Absolutely horrible. And she says, she's like, "I think it's some bro named Tom." Like some dude named Tom. Like it sounded like some dude named Tom. It was Tom. Oh my God. So, like, DNA underneath her nails, I think it was. Oh my goodness. And that one went on forever because that dude was like, "No, I didn't do it. Nope, I didn't do it." But he did. Oh my God, I just yawned. So if you yawned, I'm sorry. But he did. I'm telling you what, dude. The shit they're coming out with nowadays on the television is just too much. And just so everybody's aware, Lori Vallow's court is going to be starting very soon. So we have that to look forward to because then, like, oh my God, that's going to get crazy. I'm not going to have any sleep at all because I'm going to end up staying up all day long to watch that court shit. Ugh. Maybe I should take a week off. Like, while she does her court. Just, like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys want to do Zia have a fucking show to watch, watch that one. Because, like, it's insane. There's 2 other episodes. I didn't even tell you about them. Because you need to go watch that show if you haven't watched it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I hope you guys have the greatest of weekends ever. And Valentine's Day is on Sunday. And I got kind of like a weird, creepy kind of Valentine's Day quick little story to tell you guys about. So that'll be coming out on Valentine's Day. But, yeah. Just insane. Oh, the shit you can watch. I tell ya. And then for all the people who normally listen to my show, you can go ahead and stop unless you want to hear it again. Everybody else who has not listened to the rest of my show, please know that my brother is missing out of Oakland, California. His name is Nikos Tessman. He is homeless. He was last seen at a homeless shelter in February of last year, where there is a lady from the shelter who is hoping that he does make another appearance again, because I guess the same program is still going on. When the lockdown started, he did not want to do that. So he meandered off, and no one has seen or heard from him since. So it's getting very scary that we haven't been able to hear from him at all. He has a tattoo on his back, on the upper part of his back, that says ghost. He has green eyes, brownish, dirty blondish hair. He's kind of balding. He's 5'11". He talks like he's super, super white, but has a very like hood, thuggish accent. And I mean no disrespect when I say that. He grew up like he comes from Oakland, so, and I'm not meaning that disrespectfully either, but it's like, it's the way people talk. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just like Southern people have a twang. You know what I mean? No disrespect. The California cops, the Oakland cops, are not doing anything to help us in this situation. And so after someone tried to scam me and his mom out of ransom money, she involved the police where she lives in Idaho to come in and help, and they have helped tremendously. They put him into NamUs and took her DNA sample, and like they did all the right things, put him on every database they could put him on. So again, his picture will be at the end of the YouTube video. It's on my pages, on my Facebook, it's on my YouTube, it's on my Twitter, my Instagram. Those are the only ones I have. You can also call. Oh my god, I cannot stop yawning, you guys. We are in trouble. I still have so much work left to do. You can call Sheriff Lumpkin at 208-879-2232. Again, you can call Sheriff Lumpkin at 208-879-2232 if you have seen my brother, or if my brother is listening to this and just wants to be left alone or whatever, which I don't think that's the case because he loves his mom. And for me not to hear from him for this long is not shocking. I think the last time I talked to him was way even before February, and he had gotten to Oakland, and we joked that I couldn't understand a damn thing he was saying. I was like, boy, you sound too hood. I don't know what you're saying. So like, it's been a long time since I've even talked to him. I heard he was missing through my little sister, and so that's how I got involved. And so, yeah, if you hear me talking about you and you want me to stop telling people that you're a missing person, all it takes is a Facebook message, a phone call, call your mom, she'll call me, and this will all go away. But other than that, you guys, everybody, please have the greatest of weekends. Be safe. Have it full of love. Love your spouse. Love your kids. Go Valentine's Day, I guess. Yeah. I love you guys.